Welcome back to the channel. My name's Brian Kingsbury. Today we're going to do another Brian Reads the News segment. I thought we'd try something a little bit different. We're going to visit USA Today. We're going to read the leads to the stories in some of the U.S. news section of USA Today. Find out what's going on in the world. Let's take a look. This first one says space rock known as Mini Moon may have had lunar origins. Article says, remember the mini moon last year? Study finds it was likely just a chunk of the actual moon. The small rock captured the world's attention when it came close enough to the Earth between September and November to be classified as a near-Earth object. This is by Eric Lagata of USA Today. A chunk of a space rock that visited near-Earth's orbit last year was widely referred to as a mini-moon. Turns out the lunar-inspired moniker may have been more accurate than we realized. The mini-moon destination, which is used to refer to objects that temporarily float near the Earth at a certain distance or speed, has nothing to do with a celestial origin or composition. But as serendipity would have it, the cosmic rock in question may have literally been a hunk of the moon, according to a new study. Up next, we got this headline says, Trump says military turned on the water in California. State officials say that's false. The military did not enter California, said the state's Department of Water Resources. This by Christopher Can, USA Today. Let's take a look. California officials said late Monday that the U.S. military did not enter the state and release a large flow of water, as President Donald Trump had earlier claimed in the latest back and forth between Trump and the state over water resources. Trump, who visited fire-ravaged parts of Los Angeles last week, wrote Monday night on Truth Social that, quote, the United States military just entered the great state of California and, under emergency powers, turned on the water flowing abundantly from the Pacific Northwest and beyond. He added, the days of putting a fake environmental argument are over, people, are over. He said, enjoy the water, California. The California Department of Water Resources soon shot back, saying the military did not enter California. Up next, we're going to look at the weather a little. It says a wall of rain, snow, and ice will sweep across the U.S., but at least it's warmer. This is by John Bacon, USA Today. Let's take a look. It says here, the storm front that has provided a rainy respite for firefighters in California was beginning its roll across the nation Tuesday, forecast to spread rain, snow, and ice along a 2,600-mile stretch from southwest to northwest by the weekend, meteorologists say. Quote, local heavy snow and snow squalls were forecast for the Great Lakes and northeast through Wednesday, the National Weather Service said. Flooding rain and severe thunderstorms could slam the south central U.S. and Mississippi Valley from Wednesday into Thursday, forecasters warned. Up next, we got this headline. It says, Doomsday Clock ticks forward. Humans closest yet to self-annihilation, scientists say. This is by Elizabeth Wise and Davis Winkle, USA Today. Let's get into it. Humanity is at its closest yet to destroying itself, according to Tuesday's reset of the ominous Doomsday Clock. The symbolic clock now reads 89 seconds to midnight, advancing 1 second since last year's reset, the closest the world has ever been to midnight. The clock is meant as a metaphor for how close humanity is to self-annihilation, according to the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists, which has maintained it since 1947. The group was founded 2 years earlier by University of Chicago scientists who had helped develop the first nuclear weapons for the Manhattan Project. Uh-oh, tick, tick, tick. Up next, we got the top story in the sports section. This is by Jeff Zilgit. It says, suspended Jimmy Butler Heat relationship has deteriorated and a trade can't come fast enough. Article says, when two headstrong colleagues are swinging sledgehammers in unison, there's harmony. When the two stubborn people are not swinging sledgehammers in unison, someone, and perhaps both, is bound to get bludgeoned. That's what's happening with the Miami Heat star Jimmy Butler, the team president Pat Riley. A once prosperous relationship has deteriorated. On Monday, the Heat suspended Butler for the third time this month. The most recent suspension is indefinitely and for a minimum of 5 games Times, which takes the Heat through the February 6th trade deadline, which means in all likelihood Butler will never play another game for the Heat. It is an unfortunate situation, and it's the kind of drama the league doesn't need. Butler, the Heat, and the NBA league office will be relieved when the split is official. Up next, we're going to look at the lead story in the entertainment section. This is a music story. It says, years ago, I watched my hometown burn. This song gave me hope. Amid California's climate heartbreak, an unlikely but important narrator emerges. Tom Waits. They have this photo that goes along with it. It says, from the ashes we will rise. That's Santa Rosa, California. It says, a message is written on driveway of a Coffee Park home that was destroyed by the Tubbs fire in October 23rd, 2017 in Santa Rosa, California. Residents are returning to their homes after a fast-moving and deadly wildfire destroyed 8,400 structures and claimed the lives of at least 42 people. So this is a fun article by Anna Kaufman. I'm going to read a few paragraphs and then you can check it out in more detail if you'd like. It says, I, like many, share in the delusion that the place I grew up is unlike any other. Even now, if you told me that the suburban magic of Santa Rosa was easily replicable across the American landscape, I wouldn't believe you. The biggest in a family of small cities that make up Northern California's Sonoma County, it has faded Art Deco quality to it, with a big clock tower downtown that looks straight out of Back to the Future. I spent my childhood there in a house with a green door off 4th Street. There was a Foster's Freeze less than 1,000 feet away where you could buy the cure to many of life's evils for $2.50 with sprinkles at no extra charge. My mother marked our heights on pencil on the closet door, and my father yelled at the radio when Barry Bonds struck out. Not unlike you, I would guess, or someone you know. It was there that I burnt my wrist under hot plates of chiquilis, waitressing at the Omelette Express, and stood with my head bowed at temple every year during Yom Kippur, echoing the refrain of atonement, who by fire and who by flood, never thinking our changing climate would make such a question legitimate. And there's a picture of young Anna, 2005, that one taken in Sonoma County's Warm Springs Dam. So you can check out this story in more detail if you want to hear more about that. Up next, we got this article in the Life section. USA Today says, what makes a good friend? Follow this golden rule. So this one is by David Oliver. USA Today says here, keep doing your thing, own thing. TikTok comedian Sabrina Breyer turns parodies into an audiobook. Sabrina Breyer, who you know as that in-your-face, never-stops-talking friend from TikTok, has a new audiobook out now all about a friend group and how different personalities clash. It's fictional, but Breyer 30 draws from feelings she's had to make a compelling story, and it's evident she's had plenty of experiences with friendship. She has a quote here that says, I have a lot of different kinds of friends, she explains. I went to a camp, so I've got that whole community. I have a community from college, from home, and then, of course, you move to New York, and then that just expands in a major way. Keeping up with all these friends, though, is harder than it looks. Like any relationship, friendships are a two-way street. Carly Marie Manley, host of podcast Imperfect Love and author of The Joy of Imperfect Love, previously told USA Today, if both people aren't invested in making the relationship viable in the long run, the friendship will falter over time. Up next, we're going to look at the top story in the money section. It says the Fed is expected to pause its rate cuts this week, but then what? The story is by Paul Davidson, USA Today. The Fed will likely stand pat after fury of rate cuts. After that, it's anybody's guess. The Federal Reserve almost certainly will hold its key interest rate steady this week after cutting it by a total percentage point at 3 straight meetings amid easing inflation. And then, roll the dice. President Donald Trump plans to cut taxes, impose hefty tariffs on key imports, and deport millions of immigrants who lack permanent legal status, have generated unusual uncertainty about the course of the economy, inflation, and interest rates. Under many forecasters' baseline scenario, these policies could modestly stoke inflation while the economy slows but posts solid growth. That could mean 2 or 3, possibly 3 rate decreases this year. All right, the final story we're going to look at is the top story in the travel section. It says here, the best day to book, worst month to fly, 8 top tips for cheaper flights. Let's take a look. This article written by Zach Witcher says here, exclusive, Expedia's 8 data-driven tips for booking cheaper flights, including the best day. There may be no such thing as a travel hack, but that doesn't mean there's no strategy for saving and optimizing your flights. A new report from Expedia and Airlines Reporting Corporation analyzes historical booking and pricing trends to debunk some common myths about airline tickets. It offers insights into the best strategies for booking your trips. Quote, ARC's data provided valuable insights into debunking travel myths for Expedia's 2025 Air Hacks report that will go a long way to helping travelers prepare for their 2025 vacations. Chuck Thaxton, Managing Director of Data Science and Research at ARC, said in a statement, in 2025, affordable premium and economy fares can help U.S. passengers as they continue to prioritize international travel with their discretionary spending to explore their new destinations around the world. So it looks like this article has all kinds of tips. It says here, summer is the most expensive time to travel. It turns out August is the cheapest month to travel. With many kids already returning to school, February and March are actually the most expensive times to travel, to fly rather. Travelers can save up to 12% on domestic flights and earn 7% on international flights by taking a trip in August instead of February. So there's more tips. If you want more tips, you can check out this article in a little bit more detail, usatoday.com in the travel section. So there you have it, a quick look at some of the headlines on USA Today, the online section here. It looks like these headlines change as the top stories change throughout the day. But there you see that Doomsday article is up there. Looks like we got Kylie Jenner steps out during Paris Fashion Week. From day one, Trump put American women first. Trump executive order IDs 2 sexes. Advocates see that as a threat. A Mormon church responds to deceptive depiction in the new Netflix series. So all kinds of articles you could read in more detail. White House. So it looks like this site is kind of a little overwhelming in my opinion though, but it has the top headlines on the right hand side here. All kinds of fun headlines that you can click on and find those articles in more detail. So a little quick look at USA Today. If you like this article, go ahead and give this one a thumbs up if you want me to do more like this. Again, I'm Brian Kingsbury. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, ring that notification bell to get more videos in the future.